have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you are in the world. When you hit that play button, that's what it's all about, taking some action, some form of action to improve your life and your life experience, personally, professionally, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You got to do something, right? And you took that first step, perhaps you're doing a lot more by hitting that play button. Tremendous value here. Don't ever forget that. We tend to put very little value on that which we get for free, and don't make the mistake of doing that, because I am a giver. I give and give and give, and there's tremendous value within this podcast. Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina, and I am here with another episode of the Genesis Frequency, where we look at personal development, professional development, leadership development, executive development, spiritual development, and so on. But it all starts with personal development. It really does. Learning to grow, evolve, make decisions from the inside out rather than living life from the outside in. And I don't care where you are on your path, personally or professionally, whether you're a C-suite executive or somebody that's just maybe fresh out of school and trying to navigate life and living, you have to do things in a certain way. And that's what I want to talk about a little bit today is, where are you? You know, we're getting into the time of year, usually the fourth quarter of the year. I like to start conditioning my listeners to start thinking about what they want in the year ahead. Now, I have no way of knowing, unless you reach out to me, where you are on your path, whether you're listening for the first time or whether you're listening for the 300th time. I just know that there's a lot of you listening, probably 30,000 downloads per episode, something like that, and growing, and in at least 11 countries that I know of, probably many, many more than that. But where are you? Where are you on your path? And only you can answer that anyway. You don't have to answer that to me, but you have to examine that for yourself, because if you haven't noticed, it seems like to me anyway, in my space and place and my time and where I am on my path, it really seems like time is accelerating, right? I often say, didn't we just say Happy New Year? And for me, it seems like that. And here, as I record this, you're listening in almost the end of August 2025. And it's like, wow, we're going to be very soon in the fourth quarter of this year. And I usually don't talk about dates, because the content and the topic and the subject matter of my podcast is timeless. It really is. But this is for here and now, in the present moment. And we have to be fully present in this moment, right? To make efficient and effective decisions. And if we were to get a head start on what's next for ourselves, we would start doing our work right now. If there's something that you want to achieve, maybe something that has been elusive and you want to experience that by the very latest, the end of we next work, right? I'm getting ahead of myself. You know what I mean? By the end of next year, you want to start doing some of the prep work you need to do now. You want to start getting yourself positioned properly to do things in a certain way. First and foremost, I do encourage you to reach out to me. With all those downloads and all the listeners I have, there's a lot more of you out there that I should be talking to. I've talking to a lot of people. I've been doing this for a long time. I started in the business of doing this over a decade ago, back in 2013, helping entrepreneurs break out of their job, just over broke their job, and step into the wonderful world of entrepreneurship. Then I expanded from that, helping individuals, small businesses, entrepreneurs, corporations move and make a transformation in their personal life and their professional life, in their culture, in their corporate environment, and beyond. And what I want to share with you is that in all those conversations I've had over the years, there is a big difference in those who have taken action and have made the decision to work with a guide, work with somebody to help them along their way, and those that haven't. You see, what I've always done consistently from the beginning, especially or alongside of working on myself, is to have conversations with people where I don't talk and I don't preach and I'm not coaching and I'm not doing any of that. I'm listening. And I can go back over 10 years, and people will call me back. People that haven't taken action, they'll listen to this show or they'll see something that I posted on social media and they said, "You know what? I saw myself in that because I listened to your programs and I've read this book and this book and this book and this book." And I often talk about that's just not enough. And they'll reach back out again. And they'll reach out again, and we'll have another conversation, because I welcome conversations. First and foremost, I want to help people grow and transform their lives because I did that myself. And if I wouldn't have gone about doing it in a certain way, I wouldn't be here right now. So I want to share that certain way with other people. So in these conversations, when I have them a second time, I'll hear the same story, the same life story. And that's what I'm inviting you to do, is to look at your life story, to look at, no matter what you've done, if it has stayed about the same every year, because I've heard it. And I think the record is over 10 years now of people that I've talked to a couple times. They've reached out and they said, "Yeah, I think I need to do something now." And I said, "Well, we talked before and that's what you said because I keep notes on it." And it's like, "Really, what did I say last time?" And I said, "Well, you were in the same broken down relationship. It wasn't working out. And then you went into another one that was exactly the same kind of partner. You were in between jobs or you weren't working or you just quit or something like that." It doesn't matter what the story is, but the record is over 10 years, the exact same story, same individual. I know it. I see that person and I read what they put out there, and they get to a certain point and then it just goes right back to what it was. Same story. Is this you? That's the point here. Is this you? Do you get so far in your personal life, in your relationships, in your financial life, in your professional life? You just get so far, you kind of know what you want, but maybe you just didn't nail it the certain way, the right way. And then you just slip back down, back to the way things were when you were getting started. When you made that decision that, hey, I am going to get going right here and right now. Well, I encourage you to reach out. I encourage you to do something. I know you're listening to this podcast, and maybe you practice what I preach, which is to listen again and again and again and again, because it's the repetition that causes retention. It's the repetition that conditions our subconscious mind. But still, really, to get down to those stoppers, those things that are keeping you in the same place that you have always been, you usually need some assistance. I think 99% of us and people out there need some assistance to uncover the things, the blocks that tend to hold us back. They can all be found in a certain place. They can all be found in certain conditioning. But some of that we're not even aware of the fact that we have some of these conditions, some of this programming. So that's why it's important to reach out and to finally pull the trigger and just say, "Man, I'm going to work with somebody because you're right. You're right. Time is moving fast. I thought I would have this, and I thought I would have this. I thought I would be experiencing this, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong." Where are you on the path of life, personally and professionally, financially, emotionally, spiritually, in relationships and health and physical fitness, all the different areas of life that I talk about on this show? Where are you and where do you want to be? So let's work in that gap. Let's talk about that gap there. Let's get you moving. Let's start now to design that, right? You got to do something. You got to do the work. Just listening to this podcast without taking any action, without making an application to your specific life and daily consistent efforts, you're not going to move the needle. You're not going to be in position to make those quantum leaps from where you are now to where you want to be. You have to do something. Reading the book and the next book and listening to what somebody recommended, going to the next great seminar, webinar, weekend retreat will not move the needle for you. You have to take action. And everybody is going to tell you that. I don't talk about a lot about me personally, but I'm very, very, very good at what I do. I'm very, very good at helping people make a transformation in their life, in their businesses, and their experiences in every area of their life and their personal professional experiences as well. So I encourage you to reach out for a conversation with me. Let's absolutely do this thing. And I would encourage you to do it now. Let's not let any more time go by. People let time go by and you know what? We don't realize it because for the most part, we're conditioned to live a life of reactions. Well, yeah, I'll reach out and have a conversation with you, but I got to do this first. This. You're getting the formula wrong. It's not. It's be, do, and have. It's not when I have time, then I'll do this so I can finally be that. Right? We have to. We have to change that conditioning. We have to change that thought process. You have to make this change from the inside out. No, I have to be it now. You want to be financially independent, you have to decide to be that now. You have to move into it energetically. We talk about that all the time. It's not have. When I have more time, then I'll reach out. When I have more money, then I'll be happy. When I have a different job, then I'll do the things at work I'm supposed to do. When I have this, then I'll start my own business. When I have this, it's not have, do, be. It's be, do, have. And that's an element of the certain way, but it's just an element. We have to move into the being. We have to look at things like self image. We have to look at things like I alluded to earlier, like programming and the paradigms that keep us stuck. We have to look at the gap between knowing and doing. We have to look at productive activity versus non productive activity. And the list goes on, where we can find blockers and stoppers, or where we can find things that we really need to be aware of so we can take it to the next level. We have to be aware of our infinite potential. We have to be aware of our connection point with infinite intelligence. We have to understand our mental faculties of memory, intuition, reason, perception, will, and imagination, and then go deeper and look at our superpowers, the mental faculties that are also spiritual powers: faith, strength, wisdom, love, power, imagination, understanding, will, order, zeal, elimination, life itself as a power. And we can go deeper into that and look at forgiveness and gratitude and the transformation that makes. We have to look at the power of praxis, which is the integration of belief with behavior. When is the last time you examined your beliefs? Work with someone on this. Work with me on this. Work with the best. You deserve the best. It's time to make a quantum leap in your life, and you can do that. I tell people all the time, you can be anything you want in this lifetime, in this human experience. You just have to be willing and be able. And then we can move in all the other elements. You don't even have to know how. We have to examine your beliefs and your desires. What is the desire that you've been holding on to for a long time that has kept you in that space of longing and discontent? See, I work with individuals and organizations on whole life prosperity, whole organization prosperity, being at peak performance in every area of your life, and doing that personally and professionally, bringing excellence to everything that you do. We have to look at all these different areas. Besides everything I already mentioned up until this point, we have to look at the elements of attitude and mindset. And what are those attitudes? How do we move into that mindset that is most efficient and most effective and sustain that day in and day out when life is happening around us? How do we magnify our mind? There's ways that we can do this and approach this. How do we become a person that is a person of increase, touching other lives every day and making this a priority in our own experience? All these things are elements of the certain way. How do we handle fear? How do we trample and just march right over fear through that door? Because I'm telling you what, you hear it all the time and it sounds cliche, and maybe it is, but the prize, the pot of gold, the dream is in that cave you fear to enter. And I think that fear is what keeps many of you, if not most of you, fear from reaching out and having a conversation with gentle old me that'll help you get to the bottom of those stoppers. And we'll do this on the call. And guess what? There's no charge for it. Yeah, I give away too much stuff for free. But hopefully you'll be encouraged. You'll get to the point with me that you feel that, hey, I know this person. I've been listening to him for a long time. I know him. I like him. Seems very likable. I trust him. He's been putting out free content that's very, very valuable for years and years and years. He's got somebody somewhere in the world, 30,000 of them plus, downloading his show week in and week out. So um, you don't sustain those kind of numbers without, you know, putting something out there that is trustworthy and very valuable. So I'm giving you an opportunity here to let's get you set up for success. I work with individuals, I work with small businesses, I work for organizations, and I really help you to make a quantum leap from where you are now to where you want to be in your life, in your business, in your work, and what you want for you. And we'll look at every single area of your life. Then we'll prioritize it. Then we'll look at those big dream goals, those ones that you probably stopped because you didn't know how it was possible for you. But you're willing and able, and you have that desire that's gnawing at you, creating that longing and discontent that eats away at your soul day in and day out. And trust me, I know what I'm talking about and I know what I'm doing because I've been there. And I went right up, and I'm talking within hours of death's door, full of fear, knowing there was a better way, but also knowing that I held the key that held the power to unlock the door to the infinite and the master key to success and wealth and health and prosperity in every area of my life. And I'm passionate about helping other individuals and organizations do this. So no matter where you are in your path, reach out to me. I know we can work on solutions together, whether it's performance, productivity, overcoming non-productive activity, sales efficiency, priority management and time management, relationship issues, health, physical fitness, things that you want to overcome in your life, barriers you need to bust through. We can find the solutions for you. And I can do this every single time with every individual. So reach out to me, Stephen, Stephen, at successocean.com. That's my email. My calendar is successappointment.com. That's my calendar that'll open up in your time zone. Find a time, schedule some time to have a conversation with me, and be ready to move forward, to make some changes in your life and make a shift in your culture, in your organization. Share this with someone that needs it. We need to bring leadership development, personal development, professional development into organizations. The organizations that need this. You walk in all the time. You walk into a place, maybe it's a hotel, maybe it's a restaurant, maybe it's just any place of business. You say, man, the energy in here just sucks. Wow, and I feel it every time. I can't get out of here fast enough. That's the culture that you're feeling. That's the group mindset, the group paradigm. We have this as individuals and we have this within organizations. And you know what? We attract more of the same when we stay in that energetic place of yuck. That's a scientific term for you. So reach out to me. I'm not a medical doctor, I'm a metaphysician. I look at the underlying nature and cause of things. I have a PhD in holistic life coaching and counseling, and I am ordained in the field of new thought. So let's have a conversation. I know that I can help you make a transformation in your life. Stephen at successocean.com, successappointment.com gets you my calendar. You can go to successocean.com. That website's being redone, but there's some forms on there that you could use to fill out, give me more information, or even the genesisfrequency.com, the podcast website for this show. There's many, many ways to reach for me. You can find me all over social media. You can send me a message in Messenger. Just reach out and share this with someone that needs to hear this message today. Take some action. Take some action. Just listening for 20 minutes once a week, not going to do it. Reading a book, going to a seminar, going to a weekend retreat, in and of itself is not going to do it. Let's have a conversation and I'll tell you exactly why. For now, that's going to do it. You've been listening to the Genesis Frequency Podcast with me, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmina, Dr. Cause and Effect. And I wish for you an infinitely spectacular day. God bless you.